First up in the MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe has gone animated. A new show premiered today on Disney Plus on August 11th. This is the 28th MCU title, just in terms of release. So every time we talk about that order, we're always talking about when it was released. This is the 28th MCU title, first to be animated and streaming today. It's got an 8.5 so far on IMDb. It's only been out for 12 hours, and 85% of Google users do like this movie. Mike, I think it was the morning when I checked some of that. So maybe as we talk about this, if you proactively look up some stuff, maybe we can see how it's doing since the days, we're getting to the end of the day here. Episode 1, man. I also need a little help on the title of this thing. I forgot about the title of the first episode, but this one is a what if scenario told to you by the Watcher.
What if Peggy Carter was the first Avenger?
That's exactly what it was. Let's go ahead and give it up. Going to give it up because this is a first of its kind show. We've been talking about this thing weeks on end. This was announced at Comic-Con like 2 years ago, along with that first slate of Phase 4 announcements. Kevin Feige's up on stage talking about what this show might be. And at that time, I was lukewarm about it. And as the weeks have gone on, the years at this point, and now the recent weeks, I've just been getting really, really jazzed for it. And yeah, this first one is exactly what it says. What if Peggy Carter got that super soldier serum instead of Steve Rogers? I believe the episode was 33 minutes, according to Disney Plus, and then it came in, around 25. These are ballparks, so if you guys got officials, let me know. But around 25-minute episodes, nice and tight, nice and easy. We'll talk about the story, but I want to go around immediately and just get that gut reaction. Giggler, you first. How did this sit with you when those credits ran?
I hope the other episodes are better. That's my first reaction.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I was excited for this as you were at first, but so my expectations were a little bit lower, but it's still, I was just like, I'm not that excited to watch the next one.
And but as you went,
I guarantee it'll be Wednesday and I'll wake up and I'll be like, yes, what if time?
Right.
Again.
But the first one didn't wow you.
But yeah, exactly.
PC Mike, really excited to hear what you thought of this.
I'm in the same with Andy. I mean, it was fine to watch. It was entertaining, but it's hard to me to look up different things like we would for WandaVision and try to find those little niches and things. I don't know. There's an old video game, and I just had to relook it up, that was on the GameCube back in the day that I played, called 13. Has anyone played this? It had that same animation. That's all I could think about was...
Like the same type of animation?
Yeah, that's all I could think about was their animation. I know it's their first one. I don't know, it just seemed kind of choppy a little bit.
A little bit.
And I was seeing on comments online, and everyone said everyone liked it. It was okay, but everyone's like, it's too short.
Yeah, really short.
Took 25 minutes to tell a full story,
a full movie,
and you took emotions and there's just not enough character development. Basically, they said.
Yeah,
for what's in.
Well, that's a really interesting point. Just because, let's just talk about what this actually is and get into it. I mean, my gut reaction is, I'm gonna tell you right now, just so you can get the don't bury the lead here. I also thought it was pretty lukewarm. I was very excited about it, and I was kind of scared that maybe I put my expectations too high. And the truth is, everything you just said, Mike, I can totally echo it. It just felt fast, which it's a cartoon. And yeah, let's get into this right now and then explain how we feel as we talk about it. So the premise here, right? Very quick, right? What's the intro? 15 seconds of the Watcher being like, I'm the Watcher. There's multiple dimensions and multiverses and timelines. These are the stories I'm going to tell you about. Here's the first one. Okay, Steve Rogers. This is where it got cool, because you're like, I know what happens in Captain America, the first Avenger. Steve Rogers is going to get that machine, and he's going to get the super soldier serum. Instead, just one little thing changed. And spoiler alert for the episode. And this inevitably lands Peggy Carter. Help me with voices here too, Mike, if you don't mind. Haley Atwell did come back, it sounded like, I believe. But I could be wrong. And this is where it gets tough. Is that her, Haley Atwell?
Yep.
So that's the actual Peggy Carter.
Yep.
I'm going to say that the guy that played Steve Rogers was not Chris Evans. Or was it?
I didn't.
Nope.
I didn't get that.
I knew it. I knew it.
Skinny. They call him Skinny Steve Rogers on Wikipedia. It was Josh Keaton.
Okay, that's fine. This is great that you have the cast pulled up. I knew it wasn't him, though. I was like, he sounds a lot like him, but it's not quite him. All right, so Peggy Carter, she gets the serum, and she's Captain Britain. Now, this is where you can't help but watch the show, and you're like, what are going to be all the differences, right? I mean, this one little thing changes some really big stuff. Like for one, Howard Stark, that was him voicing Howard Stark.
Ding, ding, ding.
Who's that?
Dominic Cooper.
Dominic Cooper. He was back. I could definitely tell that was his voice.
Yeah.
I love it. I love that he was in the whole episode. Like, what a cool way to bring back Marvel characters you haven't seen in a long time, or somebody like him that's like out of time, and now he's on the screen again, right? And it does look a lot like him. You know, with this animation, I didn't think of the game you mentioned, Mike, but what I thought of was the movie Anastasia. Like, I couldn't get that out of my head. Like, that's an older movie too, but like the animation style felt very similar.
It does look like a video game. I can't explain it. Like those like Telltale video games or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, this is the game, and I know you guys can't see it at home, but like that's the game.
Well,
Like-
I can
Oh, I
pull it
remember
up.
that
What's the game called
game,
again?
13. It's from
13,
2003.
or 2003.
It's like very
GameCube.
comic. It's made out of a comic book.
Yeah.
And like their split screens would go boom, 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 and like dash it through and stuff like that.
It was okay. You know one thing they changed up really big from Captain America: The First Avenger that like I was like, wait, how did this happen? Just because Peggy Carter became Captain Britain was when Howard Stark.
Captain Carter.
Captain Carter.
But it did change your whole uniform. Like
But everybody called her Captain Britain too, didn't they?
I don't know if
I
anyone
didn't
said
notice. Yeah, I don't
that.
think
I just
so.
know her costume was.
I swear they
It was
said
the-
Captain Carter because I looked.
It is
up
Captain
episode-
Carter. You're right.
Yeah, that's what was the episode title. I said Peggy Carter, but it's Captain Carter.
Was I just calling her Captain Britain because of the flag and everything on the shield?
Maybe
I originally was like when I was thinking.
it
about
makes you think of it. I mean, I
this
don't think it's
episode,
that big
yeah.
a flub. Look
It's
at the
not,
club.
but still, I think it's a cool name, Captain Britain. But either way, you know what he builds with they get that Tesseract first of all pretty quickly
Mhm.
from Red Skull, and he puts it in an Iron Man suit that he built.
In the 40s or whatever.
I mean, that wasn't in the Captain America movie at all, though.
No.
But I understand this is a different world. But like the Watcher's point was that one little phrase she said, like she's like, "I'll stay down here with you, Steve." He's like, "That changed everything," and I was like, "Well, Howard Stark never had that suit,
No,
so
took his son to go in a cave and
yeah."
figure it out.
Yeah, I mean that came from Tony Stark. But either way, that was very different. It was fine though. You know what else I noticed? Captain Carter, I mean, way stronger than Captain America, and
Stopping trucks and stuff.
like way tougher. Like just putting her shoulder like Superman,
Yeah.
like hitting people and punching people like 30 feet away. And that moment, I thought, okay, this is a cartoon, and they're just leaning into like this is a cartoon. You can be a little more free with that stuff, I guess. But
That's exactly where I was like in my head. I'm like, this is a cartoon, but I can't like. It's also canon, so I'm like, I don't know how to.
exactly,
I don't know how to.
And she
like,
learned quick.
put these
too.
things together. I think my brain is also like confused because all these other shows, like in the back of our head, we're like, okay, what's going on with the show and how's it going to affect the MCU going forward?
right?
This, I mean, I guess we have to acknowledge that could happen. I mean, I found this quote that I was looking for that I said earlier about the potential for the characters to be in live action from the show.
Yeah, you had. Yeah, go
Eventually.
ahead. You tell us about it.
So, in an interview with Inverse, executive producer Brad Winderbaum suggested that what if characters could potentially receive their own live action spin offs?
Well, yeah, we know that. I mean, Disney's doing it right now with everything else. They're like, it's like,
Like,
what if,
yeah.
what if
What if we made
Peggy
money off
Carter,
everything?
and like it's just a whole season of that, you know? I mean, but you said live action.
Yeah.
So these are like tests. So they're testing like 10 stories with all of us,
Could be.
and we're the focus group.
Like, which one do you guys like the best?
Or, I mean,
yes,
just
and guess what? 0 for 1.
in some point of Multiverse of Madness, like maybe we see a universe where this did happen, and then we just see this in live action. We see Skinny Steve.
Skinny Steve, who gets like shot in the stomach and like he gets all right, then he's flying around in an Iron Man suit. Don't get me wrong, like that was awesome. Like I was like, that's
Yeah.
cool, but like also like very ridiculous, even for a Marvel movie show. How about Red Skull getting his hands back on the Tesseract and opening up a wormhole and just letting through a crazy space octopus?
That reminded me of Starro, honestly.
Oh yeah, hey, you can't skip ahead.
I know.
I want to.
We gotta finish this.
Man, that's rough. I'm
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
trying not to like dog on this and get caught up in that because I did enjoy it. I had a good time.
It was different.
It was different. I'm with you, Andy. It's like I'm not sure how I'm supposed to feel about it. You know, like it's like, are you just supposed to? Is this supposed to be like a 20-minute little in the background show that like you just like, oh, that's kind of cool. Because I was watching it like an MCU thing, and I just was kind of thinking like, this is okay.
Yeah, I had my like notepad out and I was gonna take notes, and I was like, "What the heck do I even say?"
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's because we don't have a lot to say about it, is the truth.
Yeah,
And
but-
that's exactly why it's hitting that point. But like, it was okay. It looked all right. And I'm with you, Andy. I think you mentioned you're like, oh man, it was okay. But like next week, you'll be so excited to see T'Challa,
Yeah, we got
whoever it
8
is.
more. I'm not going to stop watching it
Mhm.
by any means.
Oh,
and
no,
I will
we're-
be very excited.
All right, let's talk about the end of this thing then. We can wrap it up. So Nick Fury is at the end, and it's because she goes through the wormhole. It's like the same ending as Captain America, right? Instead of him flying his plane into the ice and saying, I'll dance with you later. And then he wakes up and he's with Nick Fury in downtown New York, and he's like, I just had a dance, that whole scene. Yeah, I mean, I'm getting emotional thinking about that. Well, this one is Peggy Carter's got to push a space octopus back through the portal. And like during this push, the same like little dialogue happens. He's like, I thought we were going to dance. And she's like, Saturday. And they fall in. And then where does she go? She pops out basically where Loki pops out in the Avengers movie, 2012. It's Nick Fury, Clint Barton, Hawkeye, just like you found him in Avengers, except instead of Loki coming out, it's Captain Carter. But Nick Fury says the same line. That was Samuel L. Jackson.
It is.
For sure. I could tell that for sure. He goes, drop the sword. And like, that's like, he says the same thing in Avengers, but he says, drop the spear because Loki's got his thing.
Good call.
All right. That was kind of cool. She's out of time and she's like, oh, we won the war. But like, oh, I just owed someone. She didn't say that, but in my head, I was like, I owed someone a dance.
It's just so weird. It just ends. And you're like, oh,
Yeah.
all right, next week.
Yeah. See you next week. It was a quick one.
Yeah.
All right.
Brand new story.
PC Mike, anything you want to add on this? Anything else? Any other tidbits from the internet you saw? Your feelings? Let's wrap this thing up.
Sebastian Stan was Bucky in this.
Awesome. There's a
Red,
joke in there about his arm, right? She like grabs his arm. He's like, "You almost took my arm off."
Yeah.
Red Skull was the same guy, I believe, Ross Marquand.
Same guy from Captain America: First Avenger.
The Avengers Affinity War.
Oh, see, that's a different guy. Different actor played him in
Yeah.
Captain America: First Avenger, and
It
in
was what's his face?
The
He's
fir-
pretty famous.
the first guy was from the guy from Captain America: First Avenger is the guy from The Matrix,
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yeah.
But different actor, I think, in the last one. Either way, so okay, he came back. Who else did they have in here?
Nick Fury was there. Jeremy Renner was Hawkeye. Clint Barton.
That was him, Jeremy
Mhm.
Renner. How about Doctor, the doctor that had the super soldier serum? Not I want to say Liechtenstein. That's not it. Erskine.
Erskine. Stanley Tucci.
That's him.
Yep.
This guy was the
Yep.
same guy from the movie.
The redheaded mustache guy that's in the band of like brothers. You see him like a redheaded dude with a big mustache
I can't remember his actor name.
or a
but
goatee.
He was in
Walking
He
Dead.
was Damien Dark in Arrow.
Nope,
remember
that's a different guy.
What do you think his name is?
I don't think so.
It is yeah, for sure.
John Flynn.
John Flynn. You're thinking of
Brady Whitford.
Damien Dark was Clancy Brown.
This is the guy. This is the bad guy from Billy Madison. Played somebody. John Flynn.
Oh,
whoever that
yeah.
is.
Actually, Mikey said something to me during. He's like, "Hey, that's the guy from Billy Madison, 100%, right?"
Oh
And I
my
was like,
gosh.
I
Bradley
listened for a
Bradley
second. I was like,
Whitford.
yep.
Toby Jones. Oh, it's Toby Jones was in there. He's been in some things. That Zola.
Andy, did you feel like there was anything here that would like have any kind of impact at all in the MCU that we know?
No, I don't. That's what I'm just confused about. Like
Yeah.
How, unless we could see like a glimpse into this universe, but like it's not going to affect the universe we know unless there's some way to. That's what I was thinking on the way here. I was like, how we're going to get to a point where they're going to be jumping like universes. How is
yes.
it going to get there? That's my next big question. Like,
Well, there's infinite possibilities, right? Like that's the whole point is like there's infinite Earths, like infinite timelines. You know what I could see happening? The fact that you told me about that article, Andy, where they said what if episodes could become live action versions of what we're watching? I could see it one day being like, this is how the watcher like sees these stories and it's how he tells them. And then one day the camera goes to that watcher, those eyes in space, and like it goes through like a film or something, and it's like, boom, it's live action. And then
Oh, that'd be cool.
and then like
Yeah.
that's like a big reveal in like a later episode or a special or something. So maybe that's where they're headed. And that would be kind of cool because then you start feeling like there's a little bit of setup.
Mhm.
But right now, it fell a little flat, episode 1.
Yeah. Hugo Weaving was Red Skull in those first ones.
In the first one?
Yeah.
That's Mr. Smith.
good call. I could not think of that
I-
name. But yeah, this guy's
PC.
got the whole PC. That's why. Hey, that's why you're here.
I got this guy's name, Neil McDonough.
Who's that? Redheaded guy?
This guy? Yeah, he was in the
He's got the boiler
actual
hat.
movie. Yeah,
Andy, any final thoughts on this first episode? Ready to see the next one, I guess, right?
yeah. I'm just ready for the next one.
Have they gave any indication of what will be next, or is it just going to be like,
I don't know.
here you go?
Only things I've seen is Chadwick Boseman is going to be
And
Three.
multiple.
four, yeah, like three
Three
or
or four.
four. I thought I saw 4, but
And I am pumped because, dude, we're gonna get Michael Rooker as Yondu.
there's 9 total. I think 1 got lopped off the end for some reason because of COVID.
Yeah, it'd be cool if it was like an hour, and they like had a little exposition.
Yeah,
But they bank on you knowing about these characters, so they tighten it up.
yeah. It's so fast. They just move around. Like, how many movies did they just show in one?
Do you think it's a
30-minute
little
show?
more younger kid?
That's
I
also
also what
think
I'm
it is, too.
thinking.
Just
Yeah,
because WandaVision, Captain and Winter Soldier, they're
Some,
not.
some
No,
of the-
you're right.
Some of the
Loki?
jokes and
You're-
stuff, I was like, what?
you're right, man. And I think this is like you forget that this is on a platform called Disney Plus,
Mhm. And it's a cartoon.
and it's a cartoon. And that's where I think I go into this thinking like, they made this for me, right? I'm the MCU fan. They made this for me. Well, they made this for me, but they also made it like if I had a daughter, they'd be like, this is really
Yeah.
for both of you.
for sure.
Or a young son or whatever, just a kid in general. But all right, what if episode 1? There it is in the books. Captain Carter, we saw the story. Will it go anywhere? We'll find out. Episode 2's next week. We'll talk about it. And of course, you can find this review along with the rest of our MCU reviews in our preferred watch order at mostlysuperheroes.com/MCU reviews, ratings, connections. And yeah, again, I've actually gone into the website and revamped the order. It's actually, I don't know if I've even talked about this on the show with you guys that much, but I did. I went back in and I've changed my mind. Black Widow changed everything. Black Widow changed everything in terms of watch order because now I had to pluck a movie out of the release and put it back. And now that I'm looking at the MCU in total and looking at phase 4 as we're having 12 to 24 titles come out over the next 2 years, I'm realizing you're not going to be able to play this release order game anymore. Like, you need to watch if you're here to like pick up the MCU, I'm going back on what I said. Like, release order, it makes sense for Star Wars in my mind. But like, even then, as you're talking about new audiences coming in, people that have never heard of a lot of the stuff we're talking about, like, you just got to start at the beginning. And honestly, starting the MCU with Captain America, the first Avenger, Captain Marvel, like those.
So then do you throw this episode into...
This one is TBD. So right now, it's just going to go at the end.
I
Because it's TBD. I don't know where you put this. You can't just put.
feel like it's standalone almost. I don't know.
It does. It feels standalone. It doesn't tie to anything else. It's like it's what if.